Now at 11, we have breaking news on the cyclone strike when fans can get back to watching the team tear up the ice. And dozens displaced in two separate fires in the tri-state. The efforts to help those who can't sleep in their beds tonight. Plus, as we approach the end of the year, we're helping you out with the housekeeping. Where to recycle your trees, what to do on New Year's Eve, and how to get the best out of your gift returns. Thanks for joining us. I am Sean Delancey. We begin with several breaking news stories tonight. First up, the days-long Cincinnati cyclone strike is over, and that means that the team will return for its home game against the Indy Fuel on New Year's Eve. The Heritage Bank Center announced that the Professional Hockey Players Association reached a tentative deal with the ECHL on a new collective bargaining agreement. The agreement states that players will report to their teams in good faith and prepare to return pending ratification and approval. This is after the Cyclones were forced to postpone Friday and Saturday's game, leaving some fans upset.
I think the one thing that both sides need to understand is nobody's going to walk away from the table exactly happy.
Families like the Boyds traveled from Dayton and booked hotel rooms for the weekend. The team says that it will make every effort to make this weekend's games up, and details will be announced at a later date. And some more breaking news. In Harrison, fire crews say that an apartment fire there this evening left roughly 30 people displaced. This happened at a complex on Tall Oak Circle. Officials on scene say no one was hurt. However, they say 5 pets were inside the apartment, and they did tell us most of the pets died. And 17 people were displaced in another fire in the Finneytown area. Officials tell us that includes adults and children from 5 apartments. This began around 7 o'clock. Firefighters responded to heavy fire and smoke there and ended up calling in 9 additional total departments for help.
Yeah, we called for additional resources. Obviously, it's some challenging to get back in here as far as our water supply, but our firefighters put their training, education, and experience to work, and were able to put out the fire with no injuries.
Yeah, fire crews said that they put it out quickly, and the Red Cross is now helping the displaced residents. New at 11, people reached out to us about a large police presence near the theater in Milford, so we started digging. The city says its police department received several 911 calls about a man with a gun near the Cracker Barrel on River's Edge Drive. Police responded, found the man, and learned it was an airsoft-style BB gun. The city says that there was a temporary lockdown at the nearby Cinemark, but at no time was there an active threat. Milford police are still investigating, though, and say that they're working with the prosecutor's office about next steps or possible charges. Glendale police now tell us that a woman caused a chase and a crash on I-75 this afternoon because she was about to be arrested for violating a protection order. Police found Diana Kramer on Annadale Lane around 12:30. They say that when she took off, she nearly hit an officer with her car. Officers tried to use stop sticks on I-75 southbound, but that didn't work. That's when she ended up here near the 7175 split at Paycor Stadium. Police say that she hit a concrete barrier next to the stadium and another car. The people in that car suffered minor injuries but were not hospitalized. Kramer was taken to the hospital, and police say that she will be charged once she leaves. Out with the holiday season and in with the season of gift returns. Thankfully, it's easier than ever thanks to online stores, but some are shortening their return windows and have added $7 to $9 return fees. Experts say if you have something to return, make sure you learn your store's return window.
Knowing if you're going to get your money back, if there's an even exchange, if there's a restocking fee.
Overall, we have seen a pattern where retailers are getting a little bit more strict about it.
For smooth returns, also make sure that you have gift receipts, keep the item in its original packaging, and do not remove the tags. If you have a real Christmas tree, you are going to have to dump it soon, whether that is today or putting it off till January. There are a few recycling options that you can check out. You can donate to the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources Christmas for the Fishes tree recycling program. They tie weights to the trees and submerge them in different lakes to provide places for fish to feed, shelter, and spawn. You can bring your donations to Pendery Sports Park in Melbourne and Camp Ernst Park in Burlington. There's additional options for Covington residents as well. You can mulch your live Christmas tree for free until January 19th. Just bring it to Devou Park, Scribble Park, or adjacent to Neighborhood Park in the parking lot of or off Tripoli and Hans Pike. Similar to Covington, lots of cities have pickup programs. Just check out your city website. And if that does not work, Rumpke customers can schedule a curbside pickup starting January 5th. You have to call the number on your screen 48 hours $200 in advance. And keep in mind, for all of these removal options, you have to remove all lights and decorations from the tree. Turning to the new year, a local law firm is working to make sure you get home safely on New Year's Eve. Lawrence & Associates is once again launching its Arrive Alive campaign. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to get a voucher. That voucher will give you $25 for an Uber ride. It'll be good to use between 9 p.m. on December 31st and 4 a.m. on New Year's Day. You have to be a Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky resident, and you must be 21 years old to enter. It's first come, first serve, so take advantage early. With the new year comes new laws and new effects from existing laws, much of which impacts how much money you make and how much you get to keep. Let's dig into it. In Ohio, the minimum wage is going to bump up by nearly 3% from $10.70 an hour to $11 even. Minimum tipped wage will be $5.50. All schools will have to officially have a plan in place and enforce a cell phone ban by January 1st as well. In Kentucky, income tax will drop from 4% to 3.5%. That's all part of the state legislature's plan to eliminate income tax if Kentucky continues to hit key economic benchmarks. A major consumer data protection bill will be coming into effect Thursday as well. It establishes guidelines for how businesses hold and use data and gives people the right to know what's collected and opt out of certain things like businesses selling your data and more. Indiana has a similar data protection bill coming into effect, and income tax will drop to 2.95%. Tonight, we are learning new details about a victim of the UPS plane crash in Louisville. On Friday, the city's mayor announced that Elaine Rodriguez Colina has died from severe burns he sustained from the crash. Colina's boss told the Associated Press that he was burned over 50% of his body, and doctors did not have much hope for a recovery. He was in an induced coma ever since the accident. Colina is one of 15 victims, including 3 pilots. The NTSB is still investigating, but a preliminary crash report said critical hardware that kept the left engine attached to the plane had failed. The parents of a Kentucky State University shooting victim have been arrested in Indiana on related intimidation charges. Dejan Darrell Fox and Chardonnay Cleveland are accused of making threatening Facebook posts after their 19-year-old son was fatally shot on December 9th. Court records say the posts implied violent retaliation against the family of former shooting suspect Jacob Bard. The affidavits say that one post referenced a prominent criminal street gang. Both parents have since been released. This is all after a grand jury declined to indict Bard on murder charges. His team argued that he was acting in defense of his son, who was being attacked. The grand jury also cited insufficient evidence. Former death row inmate Elwood Jones is expected back in court Monday after he was arrested for allegedly driving under the influence and crashing into a pole on Christmas Eve. He was charged with operating a vehicle while intoxicated, leaving the scene of a crash, and failure to control a motor vehicle. It comes nearly 2 weeks after the 30-year-old murder case against Jones was dismissed. We'll let you know what happens in court. In international news, Russia launched a large-scale attack on Kyiv as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is set to meet with President Trump in Florida tomorrow. ABC's senior White House correspondent Selena Wang is there. A pair of hero siblings in Ohio credited for saving their bus driver, what raised an alarm for the younger sister who's in 3rd grade. Plus, are you looking to ring in the new year right here in the Queen City? We've got some events you can attend to celebrate Cincinnati style.
We need help on Fork Road, bus 8, bus driver cannot breathe.
An Ohio community is hailing a brother and sister as heroes after they helped save the life of their bus driver. This happened in Ashland, less than an hour from Akron. Third grader Katrina Thomas was the first to see the driver having breathing problems. That's when her brother Charlie rushed to the front of the bus and used the radio to call for help.
That's when I realized that something was going on. I went up there and grabbed the radio and then called the school because I knew that that was the quickest way we could get help.
Great job there. The driver was taken to the hospital to undergo further testing. The school's superintendent called the actions of the students truly outstanding. A local health center is working to notify hundreds of patients after discovering a breach of their personal information. HealthPoint Family Care in Newport says the breach involved an employee who was sending work emails to their personal account. We're told that the emails contained information like names, ethnicity, and dental service codes of more than 500 dental patients. No medical records were breached in all of this. The center says that the employee was fired, and it plans to inform any impacted patients by mail. On Monday, roads around Vice President J.D. Vance's Cincinnati home will be closed. It's unclear why the vice president is in town. The closures are in the East Walnut Hills area around William Howard Taft Road and some of the surrounding streets. They will continue through January 4th. We have more information over at WCPO.com. And now to the city of Hamilton, where they're investing $1 million to replace lead service lines. According to our partners at the Journal News, half of that came from an Ohio EPA grant. The other $500,000 is coming from the city itself. It worked with the Ohio EPA to identify roughly 100 properties that need to have service lines replaced to prevent toxic lead exposure. If you are looking for something to do New Year's Eve, Cincinnati has plenty of options. You can attend the New Year's Eve live event at Winter House. It includes food, drinks, and a ball drop watch party. Proceeds support Queen City Charities, the Grapevine Foundation, and the Incubator Kitchen Collective. The event starts at 9 o'clock that night. You can find tickets at myfountain.square.com. You can also go to Happy Zoo Year. It includes a kid-friendly early countdown featuring the zoo's digital tree. There will be giveaways and photo opportunities. It all starts at 8 o'clock on New Year's Eve. Okay, playoff hopes are done for the Bengals, but there is no quit in Joe Burrow, coming off an AFC Offensive Player of the Week nod heading into Week 17 of the regular season. The Arizona Cardinals will step into Paycor Stadium tomorrow with the Bengals quarterback red hot. Against Miami, he threw for more than 300 yards on 25 passes, 4 touchdowns, and no picks. It was the highest rated performance of the season just a few weeks after coming back from injury. His wideout, Jamar Chase, is glad to have him back. Chase was just recently named to the Pro Bowl for the 5th consecutive time, but for these last 2 games, he says he just wants to get back into the end zone.
As much of the accolades as I want, I'm not really worried about it no more and stuff like that. I work my off to put in all the stats I can during the time that I need to.
Kickoff against the Cardinals set for 1 o'clock. Well, the Cincinnati Reds have made a couple of moves in the outfield. First, they agreed to a 1-year contract with J.J. Bleday, last from the Athletics, with a $1.4 million price tag. The Reds also sent Ethan O'Donnell to the Marlins in an outfielder swap for Dane Myers. And the University of Michigan has named its new head football coach after the school fired Sharon Moore earlier this month. 66-year-old Kyle Whittingham will take the reins of the program. He spent the last 2 decades with the University of Utah. Whittingham stepped down from that head coach position in his 21st season with a 10-2 record. Turning to college basketball now, UC set to take on Lipscomb right here at home on Monday. The Bearcats are trying to recover from a very close loss to Clemson last week, 65-68. After this, it's the long-awaited Big 12 home opener against Houston. All right, and check this out. A Cincinnati sports club is growing thanks to the power of community. The Cincinnati Curling Club just completed a more than 5,800 square foot expansion at its facility. This adds a 4th sheet of ice to the facility on Duff Drive. Club leadership says that they need the space to keep up with growing interest. Membership has grown 10% every year since the club opened its permanent facility in 2019. Did you know that in 2026, for the first time ever, the Times Square ball will drop twice? The first time will be to usher in the new year next week, the second to mark the nation's 250th anniversary. That will happen on July 3rd, the night before Independence Day. The ball will be relit in red, white, and blue with an America 250 design. Afterwards, 2,000 pounds of patriotic confetti will set off the night, and we'll wrap up with a pyrotechnic display to set to Ray Charles' version of America the Beautiful. And we all want to know, what gifts did you get for the holidays, and were they as weird as what Joe Burrow gave his offensive linemen this year? ESPN reports that the Bengals quarterback gifted several of his teammates authentic dinosaur, bear, and mammoth fossils because, yes, of course, Joe Burrow, he collects them. Center Ted Karras reportedly took home a woolly mammoth tusk estimated to be 30,000 years old, and offensive tackles Orlando Brown Jr. and Amarius Mims chose cave bear skulls, but that really begs the question at this point because he got katanas for the O-line last year.
Yes.
Fossil or sword? What do you? I'm 100% sword on this one.
Swords are amazing. I would probably go sword because they're cooler to show people. But I also love fossils. I was just at Cincinnati Museum
Nothing
Center.
against fossils.
Saw the dinosaur bones. They were great. So love them both. I'll take either.
All right, that has nothing to do with weather. Let's jump into that.
Yeah, warmer out there tomorrow. Temperatures near 67. And for the Bengals, could be some hit and miss light rain, but could keep it dry. That better chance of showers and a couple storms more Sunday night. And behind it, so much colder. Monday, windy, 29 for a high, which means wind chills in the teens at best all day long.
Yeah, okay, so that means we need to keep our katanas out of the rain during that period. That'll do for us here at 11 o'clock. Always on WCPO.com. Join us bright and early for GMTS. Take it easy, everybody.